Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, a couple of things that you need to know before we start the Q&A this week. The first is I answer these questions normally on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Today's Tuesday morning. If you want to guarantee to get your question answered, then please put it in the comments before Tuesday. If I miss it, I'm very sorry. Leave it to put it in the comments down below and I'll get to it the following week. Also, don't forget, because it's really important, I don't look at these questions ahead of time. So you're getting my raw, unfiltered opinion and answers. And if there's something that I think needs a longer video, I'll put that into a longer video down the line. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much. I always say this every Sunday, but thank you so much for your continued support of the channel. It means the world to me. It really does. Thank you so much. Yeah, with that being said, there are a ton of questions, so I'm going to go straight into them. Remember, when you ask a question, nothing's off the table. Whatever you want to ask me is absolutely fine. With that being said, let's get into this week's Q&A. Okay, so the first question is from Mick Anderson, who says, "Hi, Craig. You recently said that the Mirage coin set Apparition and the new Nightshade can also be incorporated together. Does this mean that Apparition will be available soon in $half size, or will you have to purchase the Mirage coin set in dollar size to be able to do the effects eventually with all sets? Hopes that makes sense." Yeah, look. Apparition is now available in $half size. I don't think that Alakazam have put it on their website yet. I think that they're going to be kind of launching it at some point down the line, but I know they have them in stock. And if you go into the shop, you can actually pick up an Apparition in $half size, and it's actually really well priced as well. So if have a look on the website, if it's not on there, email them, send them a Facebook message, give them a call, something like that, and ask them about Apparition $half size, because they definitely have them in stock. And they might be holding off for a launch, but if you rang them and just say Craig sent you, I'm sure you could get that. But yeah, it was really important for me that we did that, because I ultimately want to have all of these coin sets working together, which is why Nightshade will be launched as a $half and a dollar version. Mirage is now available as a $half and a dollar version, and obviously Apparition is available as a $half and a dollar version, because the ultimate goal is that it's a little bit like Power Rangers in the, you know, you've got all those individual machines that they fly around in, but then they all come together into one giant robot. It's kind of the same sort of thing with the coin sets that we're doing with the Elite coin range with Alakazam. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that answers your question, but yeah, go check out Alakazam. They can help you out. Okay, so the next question is from Ulysses Ludd, who says, "Hi, Craig. This is for the person who asked about the time travel tricks without cards. On this theme, I've used the Time Machine book test by John Zandman for groups of about 10 folks. This routine features the Pegasus page and packs a strong impact. The only caveat here is that it's a parlor size of 30 spectators has been indicated as a potential audience size. I think Time Machine could be effectively presented to that many, but doing so might depend a bit on the physical configuration of the performance area. In any event, the person who asked this question might want to study up on the effect, watch the reviews and trailers." Really good shout. Pegasus page can be adapted to a time travel presentation very, very easily. Don't know why I didn't think of that. Duh. Yeah, perfect. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, if you're interested in time travel tricks, absolutely look at Pegasus page. Okay, so the next question is from your Riventoll. "Hi Craig, how you doing? I was wondering when the new project comes out regarding the mental photography deck, and if you could be bringing out more of these types of products, for example, Stripper or Svengali. I'd like to know. Thanks for the amazing things that you do." The mental photography deck, I'm just working on the routines. It takes at least a couple of years, sometimes more, depending on how much work I've already put into the project. So what I mean by that is when Visible came out, it was released straight away, but that's because I'd spent like 7 or 8 years working on Visible, working on the Invisible deck. When I started work on the mental photography project, which was about a year ago now, I only had like 2 or 3 unique routines, and that wasn't enough. So I've spent the last year, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I've spent the last year kind of coming up with routines and testing it in the real world. And I'm probably at least 6 months away from anything happening with that. So the mental photography stuff, I'd say you're looking tail end of 2024. other 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 projects like that? Well, you know, I absolutely love doing these deep dives. Visible was very well received, which was my project on the Invisible deck. Beyond the Stebbins was very well received, which was my project on the Stebbins deck. The Forecast, which was on the Memorize deck. Obviously Cheeky, which was on the Cheek to Cheek deck. All of those are some of my favorite projects I've done, because it allows me to do what kind of I feel is part of my mission with this channel, which is shining a light on the stuff that we all do and kind of showing ways that you can do it in a completely different method, if that kind of makes sense. So with that being said, the next one of those project style things to come out will be the Mirage deck project. That's been done, that's been filmed, that's in the bag. The Mirage deck project is massive, and it's a very underutilized deck of cards that you can do so much for. After the Mirage deck, I think we're probably looking at I would say the Svengali deck next, which has been ready to go for about 2 years. And then I'm currently working on the Stripper deck, and I have been for a while. So that's something that will happen at some point down the line, but probably the Mental Photography deck will come soon first. So lots on the horizon, but I think the next one will be the Mirage deck project. So the next question is from Different Magician, who says, do you perform The Gift by Angelo Carbone? And if so, can you put a performance of it? Yes, I do. I actually have had The Gift for years, since 2017, and I do a couple of things with it, actually. So yeah, Divishan, no problem. In fact, that's probably a good one to do as hidden gems, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I'll put a performance up at some point in the next week or two, no problem at all. Okay, so the next question is from Source Citrus Fruits, who says, hi Craig, I know you've mentioned that Ryland has a Harry Potter show. Over the next year, I'm hoping to put together a Pokemon show for smaller kids' parties, incorporating some of the official Pokemon cards. Can you speak at all to using such intellectual property for performance, or using materials with IP, like Pokemon cards and rights involved? I'm in Canada, so I don't know if that's different based on country. Well, what Ryland's doing is he's doing a Harry Potter themed show, but it's not like specifically Harry Potter. And what I mean by that is he's not advertising himself as Harry Potter. If you saw him on the America's Got Talent semi-finals, and he had like a Harry Potter vibe to him with what he was wearing and, you know, with the backdrop and everything, it's kind of that sort of thing. In fact, the show, Ryland's Harry Potter show, is all about imagining... it's all about kids' imagination. And it's not just about Harry Potter. I mean, to give you an overview, it starts off with him coming out on stage in pajamas, and the stage is set up with like a double roller banner. So you've got like this double roller banner that's set up to look like a kid's sort of dresser. It looks like a kid's, it looks like, you know, the shelves that kids would have, but it's got like magic stuff in it and everything. And the whole idea is he comes out in his pajamas, and he's meant to be in his bedroom, right? And there's a poster on the wall and everything. It's all set up on stage. And he comes out and he says, hey, you know, one of the best things about being a kid is having an imagination. When you've got a good imagination, you can almost do anything. But when you're a kid magician, imagination can become reality. Watch this. And then all of a sudden, he's got a poster on his wall. I mean, there's no wall because it's a stage, but there's this raised thing that looks like a poster, and it's a Thurston poster, right? And he just picks up a wand off the table and points it. There's a big flash of light, and it changes into a Harry Potter poster. And then he walks from one side, he walks behind the banner, and as he comes out the other side, the Harry Potter music starts playing. And when he walks out the other side, he's kind of in like a Gryffindor style outfit. And then everything he's doing, it's all music based. Everything he's doing is kind of based all around Harry Potter. But then later on, he looks at the poster, he uses the wand, and it turns into like a Star Wars thing. And then he goes behind and he comes out dressed as a Jedi. So it's kind of this big thing. But he's not specifically at any point saying that he's Harry Potter. And yeah, so I don't really know much about copyright, intellectual property. I know there was a trick that I wanted to bring out through a magic company a little while ago, and it was all based around characters from films. And I had to change it. I'm in the middle of changing it right now. Actually, the trick is amazing. But I had to change it around an awful lot and one of the reasons I had to change it around an awful lot is because we couldn't get the rights to some of the characters that I'd used on the cards. So I had to change those cards around, which I'm currently in the middle of doing. You know, because obviously you need to be very careful with this sort of stuff. And the Ryland's AGT Act, again, is a perfect example because if you watch him, he doesn't say the words Lego. Even though he's doing a whole bunch of stuff with Lego, he actually says, hey, me and my dad like brick building competitions. I've got a whole bunch of bricks here. Because we couldn't say the word Lego. We couldn't use Lego anywhere. So you have to be very careful with this sort of stuff, especially if you're marketing yourself. I remember years ago, through my kids' entertainment company, we started offering Frozen-themed parties. That was the biggest mistake we ever did because we had a cease and desist letter from Disney. You never want to get a hand-delivered cease and desist letter from Disney. It's not a good situation. And luckily we have very good lawyers, but we had 24 hours to delete anything to do with Frozen off our social media and our website. This is going back years now. But we had everybody in the office like deleting this, delete this, delete this, go back through the posts. So you have to be very careful. But yeah, I mean, my advice is to contact a lawyer when it comes to this sort of stuff. I mean, in the UK, there's a lot of mascot companies that don't have the rights to actually send characters out. And they get away with it, and they're bigger than ever before. And, you know, but then again, on the flip side, you know, they're always watching. You know, my company got a cease and desist letter, and we don't do characters. We did this one little themed show, and they came down on a ton of bricks. So they are, you know, they are watching, and you do need to be very careful. Okay, so the next question is from Mexi Mex, who says, a boombox video would be great. You should totally do it. Yeah, I am. I'm actually in the process of doing it. I think Andrew Niner is such a creative genius. I really do. I was so happy that he did the interview on Magic TV. I think he's great, and 100%. I'm doing a boombox video because there's a lot more. I'm also doing a gatekeeper video because I've had some really fun ideas that I've been playing with Gatekeeper recently, and at least from my point of view, they've taken it in a very different direction that a lot of people might not have considered. So I am putting a Gatekeeper video together as well. One thing that I like to do, I don't know if you guys saw the Chop video I put up. I put a video up recently on Chop and other handlings you can do with Chop and how to use a polymer nodes and you know, objects to use if you want to make it more EDC, like AirPods and things like that. I like doing that. You know, just because I've released the trick doesn't mean I've stopped working on it. I'm always working on ideas for these tricks, and the easiest way to get those ideas out to you guys is by putting YouTube videos together. So, you know, as long as I still have ideas, those videos will continue to come. Okay, so the next question is from Mike Tyson by TKO, who says, hi Craig, hope you're well. A couple of weeks ago, you said you'd put out some videos on Deep-X that you had. I know you have a million things on your mind, but can you please put those out? Thanks always, buddy. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I have been very busy, and I want the video on Deep-X to be really, I want it to be, yeah, I want it to, I'm trying to decide how best to do it, to be perfectly honest. I have thoughts on it as to how to best present this video, and I need to figure out exactly what I want to put on the video and exactly how much information I want to give in terms of different handlings that you could use. And I need to speak to Paul Harris, I think, about that as well. But I mean, you know, it's a great trick. Deep-X is a great trick, and there will be a video coming very, very soon. I just need to make sure that I put down everything that I think is pertinent. I need to really seriously think about the best way to put the video out, but I promise I'll have it out in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so the next question is from Jedi Wacko, who says, hey Craig, love the Cube 52 project. The two biggest things I got out of it was combining full shuffles with a cube and realizing that the deck is an ESP deck. I was just wondering what cubes you use in that project. It looks like it could be from Vanishing Ink, but I'm not sure. I have a Cube 3 cube, and I like that. I also have an RD Light cube, and it seems too loose, and the stickers are already scratching off. I'm just looking for a couple more. Well, I do like the RD regulars. I think they're very good. And I tend to use the RD regulars. Now, Ryland, who's more of a cube magician than I am, he uses the cubes from the Refractor project. So if you go to the Refractor project, Kev G and Colin Klaus, and if you've seen Cube 52, you know who I'm talking about. They sell their own cubes on there, and they're beautiful. They really are. They're Ryland's favorite cube as well. So If you're looking for a really cool Rubik's Cube that handles beautifully, go check out the Refractor Project, and they have an online store, and you can actually buy those cubes directly from Kevin Cole. Okay, so the next question is from Elsie, who says, "Hi Craig, do you have any advice for people looking to develop an effect that don't get much flight time? I have a couple of close-up ideas that I've been fleshing out on my own, and I think they have potential, but I don't get many opportunities to perform it for people and develop it that way. Is there somewhere I should go and show it? Should I ask my gigging friends to do it? Should I send you the gimmicks and let you develop a 5-hour material for it? Any help would be appreciated. I'd also like to give a shout out to another potential US tour stop, NEMCOM. It's a smaller convention that happens in the Northeast in early March. The roster for lecturers in 2024 seems to be picked, but it could be a 2025 stop or just worth attending. Thanks again." Perfect. Right, so in terms of look, here's the thing. If you want the product to be a success, and this is only my opinion, but if you want your product to be a success, then what you have to do, in my humble opinion, is test it out as much as you can in the real world. Now, some people just aren't performers. Lloyd Barnes, for example, is not a performer. But one thing Lloyd is good at is reaching out to people who are performers and finding the best person to take a particular trick and test it out for him in the real world. So, you look at Dex, for example, and I know that some people love Dex, some people hate Dex, but it was tested out thoroughly for a couple of years by people like Javier Fuenmeyer. You look at ProCaps, which again, I know some people love, some people hate, but I extensively performed ProCaps for at least a year before I actually filmed the tutorial for him. So it's not that it necessarily has to be performed by the person in question. You don't necessarily have to go and do it yourself. If you're not in a situation to get much flight time, that's fair. But reach out to people who you know that do get a lot of flight time and have them test it out for you. But, and here's the caveat, it has to be somebody that you trust 100%. It has to be somebody who you trust, because I've had it in the past where I've shared an idea with somebody and the next thing I know is they've actually shared that as their own idea and it's their own thing. And it's very upsetting when that happens, right? So it has to be somebody that you can completely trust. And then if you have had somebody that's gone out and tested it in the real world, when it gets to a point that you're actually doing the project, maybe have them jump on the project with you and have them give their 2 pence worth in. Because I honestly think that the best projects are the ones where you can just tell that this thing has been worked in the real world. I've been reviewing a lot of tricks recently where it's a 5-minute tutorial and there's no live performance, and you can just tell they've never done it in the real world, and all the tutorial does is just talk about how the trick works and what to do if it breaks. While if you've got somebody who says, "Hey, I've been working this for the last year and I found this is best way to do it because," or "this is the line I use at this point because," that's so valuable on a tutorial. It really is. It's why with Cube 52 I reached out to Colin, Kev and Peter Nardi. It's because Peter Nardi is a much better mentalist than me, and Colin, Kev are much better cube magicians than me, and I knew having them on the project would elevate Cube 52. I knew that I've got another project coming out probably before Christmas from Murphy's, and I knew and I've reached out to people like Pete Turner and Pete Nardi because it's a mentalism product and I do mental magic, and I wanted there to be a discussion from people who are actual mentalists, right? So I think that having these people involved in the project just makes things so much better. I really do. And the other thing is sometimes you can be blind to something. So I was with Mark Bennett has got something out soon, and I did the tutorial for him. And the live performances, and it's a fantastic trick, and you'll see more about that very, very soon. But while I was there, his company was bringing out another trick for Jamie Williams, and he asked me to look at the project and sit in on the tutorial and see if I could offer any additional ideas. And I did, and I offered a ton of extra ideas for this thing, which Jamie hadn't thought of. Now, that's not because Jamie's not a good magician. That's not because Jamie's not a good performer, because he absolutely is. But it's because when you create something, when you look at something, you're very much looking at it through blinkered vision. You know, when you work with something, it's why I say when you're creating, sometimes the best thing to do is take a step back and just stop for a minute and then come back to it and look again, because that's going to freshen up your perspective on the thing that you're looking at, right? Well, it's the same with this. Jamie's a great magician, great creator, but he had been working with this for so long, he'd been approaching it in one particular way, and all of his thought process is about that particular way. And then you come in and, you know, somebody comes in and looks at it at a completely different angle. It's like if you watch Cube 52, Kev G fooled me with my own deck about 3 times, and that's because he found something in the cards that I didn't even know was built into it. And then when I spoke to Phil, who created the cards, I was like, do you know that's built into it? He went, yeah, I did, I told you. I don't remember. So having more than one person involved is great, because it's going to give you a different perspective on the trick that you've created. So reach out to people that you can trust, reach out to people that will go and actually work it in the real world, get feedback, make it the best it can be, and then bring it out. So the next question is from Jonah Berg, who says, have you ever performed Propless Mentalism? And the answer is very simple, no. I've always wanted to learn Pete Turner's star sign, Propless Mentalism, star sign divination. I think that's great. But no, I've never performed Propless Mentalism, ever. It's not something I do. I do mental magic. I don't really do much hardcore mentalism, to be perfectly honest. But Propless Mentalism, nope, nothing. I've never really done anything. But I know that a lot of it can be very powerful. I think that there's certain people who do it really well. Pete Turner is an example of somebody who does it brilliantly. Michael Murray is an example of somebody who does it brilliantly. But I've seen a lot of mentalists who do Propless Mentalism, and it kind of comes across as guessing. Like, oh, it's just guessing, right? My attitude is, and this is the same for magic as it is for mentalism, you know, Propless magic, Propless mentalism. My attitude is very, very simple. I owe it to my audience to do the best possible performance that I can do. Why would I possibly want to go out propless when I can take props with me? Because, you know, I could come up with some propless stuff probably, but it's not going to be as good as actually having a prop with me and being able to use a prop. It's just not, you know, and I owe it to my audience to do the best possible performance I can do. It's a little bit like coin magic. I've had people say to me, oh, I don't use gimmick coins, I only use regular coins, I'm a purist. And my attitude is, why? You know, why would you not want to use a gimmicked coin? Because most gimmick coins will clean up any coin routine. You're telling me that you can make a vanish with a regular coin look as deceptive as a flipper when you've got 3 coins in your hand and one of them's an open flipper, and you just throw them in the air and one of them vanishes? You're telling me you're going to be able to find a coin vanish using sleight of hand that's as clean as that? Ain't going to happen. So, you know, no, I don't do Propless Mentalism. I think that there's certain people that do it really well, but I'd rather be prepared for a performance and go in with the tools that I need to do the best possible job that I can do. Okay, so the next question is from user UQ6LBLG7M. Hello. For a monsters deck, how about one of the most famous rabbits from cartoons, literature, Aesop's fables? This would be a natural for kids show performance if there's not enough rabbits. Add other iconic cartoon animals like Roadrunner, Tom and Jerry, etc. Yeah, great idea. I know me and Pete have got a meeting today about other ideas. We are definitely going to have the Christmas films version of Monsters out by the end of November. I'm filming that next week. So I'm filming that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Outside of that, we have talked about superheroes. We've talked about a kids version. We've talked about one with regular films. The feedback from Monsters has been amazing. So many people are using it. People love the combination of the crib and the binary system and the marking system and how easy they are to read. People love that. I'm so glad, and yeah, it's definitely got legs. There's other things we can do with it, but what I don't want to do is just rehash the same project. So at the moment, I'm just finalizing new routines for the Christmas version, because every single version that comes out has to build on the previous version, else there's no point in putting it out. Okay, so the next question is from Mick K Magic, boom, who says, "Hi Craig, if possible, can you do a 5x5 on the late great David Berglas? What do you think of the 3 best David Berglas tricks?" I think that's an amazing idea. I'm not going to talk about my 3 favorite David Berglas tricks because I don't want to trivialize the man's career by just listing them off the top of my head now, but I'm definitely going to put a 5x5 together on David Berglas, and his loss is felt throughout the whole of the Magic community. You know, Ryland's very close, and so you know, to Marvin Berglas. Ryland's a Marvin's Magic ambassador. And you know, I saw Marvin on the London Magic Convention on Sunday, and he looked okay. He looked in decent spirits, and I know what it's like losing a parent. I've lost both of mine, and it's not nice. And my heart goes out to Marvin and his family. It really does. But you know, David's legacy will live on 100%, and I'm definitely doing a video on David Berglas. I think that's a very important thing to do, and I'll be going through my favorite routines in that, so look out for that soon. Okay, so the next question is from Warren Treadaway, one of the best magicians in the UK as far as I'm concerned. "Hey Craig, great show as always. I'm loving the monster deck. It's superb." Thank you so much, Warren. Someone mentioned over on the Magic Cafe that you yourself mentioned that there are plans for an updated hip pocket Mullica wallet release. Is this true? And if so, any idea on how far it is from being released? Yes, this is definitely true. When I went to Penguin, not the last time with Ryland, but the time before, which was about 3 months ago now. It was at the beginning of August, so August, September, October. Yeah, about 3 months ago. Nick Lacopo showed me this new hip pocket Mullica, and when I was going out getting live performances for my projects, he was actually getting some live performances at the same time, and I was watching him perform with this Mullica wallet and just blowing people away. I mean, Nick's just incredible at getting great reactions anyway, but the way and the speed that he was using this was incredible. And he told me that it was coming out this year. When I was with him. I don't know if I'm supposed to be sharing this, but whatever. He told me it was coming out this year. Now, that was in August, so they ain't got much of this year left. Now, knowing Penguin like I do, they try to go big on Black Friday. And I've not got any insider knowledge on this. I've got no idea at all, but I know that they always release a ton of new magic on Black Friday. I wouldn't be surprised to see the hip pocket Mullica as one of those new releases. I would not be surprised at all. In fact, I think that's a real possibility. If not, I know that it's very close to being released. So I would imagine by the end of the year. But I've used the Mullica wallet for years, and I've had many different versions over the years. And from playing around with this one that Penguin have put together, I think it's the best Mullica wallet that I've seen. Okay, so the next question is from Stephen Devonrue, who says, "Hi Craig, do you do any umbrella tricks? Always love your videos and thanks for the hard work." Stephen Rue, South Africa. The answer is yes and no. The appearing parasols and stuff is something that I've just never really got into, never done. It's not something that would fit me. However, I have got a trick in my warehouse that I did for years. Now, I haven't done it in the last year, but it was only last week that I was tidying up my warehouse and I walked past it and I saw it and I was like, why am I not doing that anymore? This is really cool. So it's probably going to come back into my act. And it's Kevin James. Is it Umbrella of Death or something? What's it called? Kevin. It's available on his website, I think. Kevin James Magic Shop. Okay, so kjmagic.com. is where we're looking at here, kjmagic.com. And we are looking for a particular trick that I don't see. Bear with me. No. He's got so much good stuff on his website. I don't see it. It was on there. I don't see it on there anymore, but it was. What's that? Ah, there it is. $200. Got it covered. There you go. Got it covered is amazing. It's a card sword with an umbrella. So let me read it for you. You have 3 cards selected and shuffled back in the deck. You show a large white umbrella. You toss the cards into the air and stab the umbrella. 2 cards are seen penetrated on the umbrella. They seem to be correct, but you miss the 3rd card. Never fear. You open the umbrella and the 3rd selection is printed on the fabric of the umbrella. This has all the benefits of the normal card sword, plus the fact that it has a surprise finish. Now, the price is right, as this product is oversized, very well made umbrella. Yeah, it's great. I've been using this for a very, very long time. It's $200 on his website, and that's the only umbrella trick that I do. I did it for years. It's definitely going to go back into my act. But yeah, it's an umbrella card sword. So you have 3 cards picked. You have them. I used a card fountain, so you have the cards fly up in the air. Use the umbrella, stab them. You get 2 of them, and then you open up the umbrella for the 3rd one. So that is pretty much the only umbrella trick that I do. I don't think there's many umbrella tricks, are there? If you know any more, let me know down below. Okay, so the next question is from Definitely Not a Bat, who says, what are some of your pet peeves when watching other magicians? Is there anything that you wish you could erase that's incredibly widespread amongst magic performers? Now, that's a great question. And I've got stuff that I'm not a fan of, that I see some magicians do. But I don't think I'm going to talk about it. And I'll tell you for why. And the old Craig would have talked about it. But let me tell you why I'm not going to. It's because I don't know. You know, I could say, I don't like it when magicians do this. In performance. I'm talking about performance now, because you're talking about watching other magicians. I could say, I don't like it when magicians perform and they do this. I could say that, but the problem is, they might have a perfectly good reason for doing that. It might make sense to them. And this has been driven home to me in the last year, because like the amount of people that turn around to me and say, oh, Craig just uses stock lines. Craig just uses stock gags. And I'm kind of like, well, yeah, I do use a lot of stock lines. I do use a lot of stock gags, because the thing is, they work. They work really well. A lot of people I'm performing for has never seen them before. And you know, I've had people turn around to me and say, you shouldn't do a double lift like that. Okay. It works, you know, it works in the real world. That's how I've done a double lift for years. So, and I don't like it when people say that about me, because they don't understand the context in which I perform. I'm not performing on camera, I'm performing to real people. They don't get that, right? They don't get the situation I'm in. They don't see the performances where I'm saying, you know, a standard line, like, have you ever helped a magician? You're not helping one right now. And everybody's laughing their ass off, you know? So who am I to turn around and go, you shouldn't do that because that's not good? When from their point of view, they might have a very valid reason for doing it. And I might be wrong and they might be right, for all I know. You know, I remember when me and David Penn, and I've talked about this before, but I remember when me and David Penn were on the Wizard Pro Review together, and we reviewed this bird that was fake bird. And it's just terrible. And we both ripped it apart and said it was one of the worst tricks we've ever seen. Well, it was 2 or 3 years later, somebody went and got through to the live semi-finals of Britain's Got Talent using that exact same prop. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So, yeah, there's things that magicians do that I don't particularly like. Now, I think it's very different when you're not talking about performance. So I hate it with a passion when a magician will put up a video on their company page and another magician will comment on there and go, nice double lift, or I got that trick from blah, blah, blah as well. I don't like that. I think that's wrong. I don't have a problem with people commenting on any of my Magic TV stuff, because anything that goes out to Magic TV is designed for magicians, right? But I put something up on Slightly Unusual. Now, Slightly Unusual is my company that I use to sell people on booking magicians for their events. So when stuff goes up on Slightly Unusual, I'm not tagging in magicians. I'm not talking about, I've reviewed this. It's me or somebody else in Slightly Unusual performing a particular trick. I don't like it when magicians go on there and go, oh, I bought that from Alakazam as well, or something like that. And I see it happening on other magicians' social media as well. I've got no problem talking about stuff like that, but personally, maybe I've grown as a person, I don't know, but I don't want to point out what I think other magicians are doing wrong in performance, because I get that all the time, and I have perfectly valid reasons for doing what I do, and without knowing the person I'm talking about or the type of magician I'm talking about, I'm just not going to do that. Okay, so the next question is just somebody 7487 who says, I had my first real magic kids show today, since I guess my kid's birthday party didn't count. Just coming here to thank you and Ryland so much for the tips in this video and the one about Ryland's kid show. All went well. I did some mistakes which I shouldn't have, such as forgetting to ask the name to some little helpers and so on, but in general I'm very satisfied. What power the warm-up has. Kids were very shy at the beginning. During the warm-up you could really see them changing and opening up, and after that they really enjoyed the show. Thanks. Yeah, I'm so glad it helped, man. I mean, that's what this channel's all about. Helping people go out and perform, giving them the advice they need to go out and do the best job that they can do. And you're right, I wouldn't do a kid's show without doing a warm-up. It really makes all of the difference. I can't understand why any kids entertainer would not want to do a warm-up. So thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Okay, the next question is from Adrian Oliver 54, who says, hi Craig. I've heard you talk about Palette in a couple of videos and wondered if you had any more info on that and when it's likely to be released. I know I gave you an update the other week and a lot of new decks are coming out, but I don't think it was specifically mentioned. Sorry if I missed it somehow. Yeah, so Palette, if you don't know, is something that's coming out through Alakazam, and it's a color-changing deck that I've been doing for about 15 years. And it's incredible, it really is. It's a slow motion color changing deck that's completely self-working, and I use it for close-up magic for kids, but you can absolutely 100% use it for any sort of performing situation. In fact, Peter Nardi has an amazing kind of mentalism, pseudo-hypnosis style routine for it as well. I believe that'll be coming out next year. I haven't looked, so I've had the prototypes for a long time. I filmed the tutorial. I think I did I did the live performances. I mean, Alakazam can't release a Craig Petty trick every week, else it becomes the Craig Petty show. But I know that it's something that they are in a position very soon to be able to release. And I know it's one of Harry's favorite tricks, and he was pushing for it to come out really soon. So I don't know. I would say probably first quarter 2024 would be a good bet. So Adrian Oliver has another question who says, do you have any advice for a 7-year-old beginner? My daughter's been doing an awesome job learning some tricks and sleights with sponge balls. What else would you recommend? I've done a video on this before. I would suggest a couple of different things. So first of all, I'd keep clear of cards a little bit, maybe. Do routines with stuff that kids would find interesting. I think that's one of the reasons that Ryland gravitated towards Lego and sponge balls and coins and things like that. It's because, those are things that he plays with anyway. I'm not saying don't do card magic, but try to do something that's a little bit different. Also, instant gratification is good. Teach something that they can go out and perform and get good reactions with straight away. I know we look down on it sometimes, but Dice Bomb, the classic Dice Bomb, is a great trick for kids that are beginning into magic, because it's something that they can do straight away. You can give them this thing and they can do it straight away. And it allows you to teach them the importance of presentation. So when I taught Ryland Dice Bomb, I showed him the trick, boom, and I taught him how to do it, and he did it, and I was like, great, now you got to think of presentation. And I went through a couple of different presentations. I did a funny presentation where I was trying to make it disappear and it wouldn't disappear, and then it exploded. I did another presentation where I was trying to use a magic word to make the thing disappear. And I told him to come up with his own presentation, and he did, and that was a great creative exercise. But the great thing about Dice Bomb is it's a trick that they can do straight away, but it allows you to actually teach them how to do sleight of hand to make it a little bit more impressive. So, for example, when they understand the concept of Dice Bomb, which is that the shell goes up inside the lid, obviously that's not examinable. But if you want to, once you've learned how to do Dice Bomb, they can take the lid off, stick their finger into the dice shell, and almost like palm it off as they put everything down on the table, which makes it examinable. So it allows you to show them a trick that they can do straight away, they can get great reactions from. It allows you to show them a trick that you can help them focus on presentation and come up with a unique way of doing it. But then it's something where you can say, well, okay, let's see if we can take this trick to the next level. The problem with it is, if you examine it, you're going to see how it works, right? So I'm now going to teach you how to do it so that it's examinable. And it allows you to build off a trick that they already like. So that's a great example. Being able to do coin magic is really good, because when you do coin magic, you can do it anytime, anywhere. They can just borrow a coin and make it disappear. And there's nothing more magical to a kid than making a coin disappear. But once they've got that initial vanish down, then you can teach them the idea of coins across. You can teach them the idea of transpositions, all because that's going to make them understand palming. It's going to make them understand vanishes. Now, your child, your daughter, is already one step there, because you've taught her sponge ball magic, which is great. So you can take the stuff that she's learned and apply it to coins now, which is really cool. The other thing is, I teach her how to solve a Rubik's Cube, because kids love Rubik's Cubes, right? And once you learn how to solve Rubik's Cube, there are so many tricks that you can do once you've learned how to solve the Rubik's Cube. So I'd say teach them how to solve a Rubik's Cube as well. Ryland was 6 when he learned how to solve Rubik's Cube. Coming up on 7. So your daughter's at the right age, you know, teachers, you know, it's not actually that hard to learn the beginner method, and kids have good memories generally. So, so there's that. And then very early on, I know I said don't really do card magic, but I do like packet tricks. I think there's a lot of really fun packet tricks that kids can do. And very early on, I taught Ryland how to do an Elmsley count. And the reason I taught Ryland how to do the Elmsley count is because there were a ton of packet tricks I wanted to teach him that use the Elmsley count. So I spent a long time teaching him how to do the Elmsley count when he was like 6 or something, 5, 6. Twisting the aces is a great trick for kids to do, but you can use 4 blank cards and you can put stickers on there. Like, so with Ryland, when I taught him twisting the aces, he was really into Paw Patrol. So we bought a sticker book with big stickers of all the Paw Patrol characters. And I said, right, we're going to do this with 4 Paw Patrol characters. We're going to make special cards up just for you. Which 4 should we use? Chase, Rubble, Marshall, and who was the other one? Rocky. Those were the 4 that he used. And I taught him twisting the aces, but with blank cards with stickers on. That's the thing about card magic. If you get yourself a sticker book of whatever your daughter's interested in, you can take card magic and you can make it something that they're really into. Look at a self-working trick like Will the Cards Match, for example. You can do it with Will the Heroes Match, and you can get a sticker book with Marvel heroes on them, and you can do the same thing. So you can have like two Hulks, for example. You can have 2 Supermen. You can have 2 Batman, and you can do Will the Jacks Match, but with heroes, and say Will the Heroes Match. The same math would work with princesses, I imagine. Another example is doing wild card, but getting stickers, getting yourself some stickers and having blank cards, and every single one of them ends up getting printed with a superhero. So who's your favorite superhero? Spider-Man. Great, stick a load of Spider-Man stickers down on some double blanks and some blank-faced cards, and you've made yourself a wild card set. Now you can teach them a trick that they're going to really love because they've been made specifically for them, and you're going to be able to teach them stuff like the Hammond count, you're going to be able to teach them stuff like the glide, you're going to be able to teach them stuff like a double lift, but it doesn't feel like a card trick, right? And then the other thing that I would suggest is rubber bands, because rubber bands are a really good kind of tool that you can grow with as you learn magic. So, you know, the jumping rubber band is something that everybody can do right at the very beginning. But then you can learn Crazy Man's handcuffs, you can learn rubber exchange, you can learn linking rubber bands, and then you can start getting onto some really hardcore stuff. So as they become more proficient and they become better with rubber bands, they can learn more magic and more magic and more magic. And again, rubber bands is the sort of thing that you can just have around your wrist and you can do anytime, anywhere. So hopefully that helps, but have fun with it. You know, there's nothing better than being a magical parent to a magical kid. Enjoy it. So there you go, guys. That's another video in the bag. Once again, thanks very much for joining me right here at Magic TV. Hope I managed to answer all of your questions. If you've got a question, leave it in the comments down below. I will get to it on next week's Q&A. Also, don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again later on this evening with a review show special. So make sure you watch out for that. But if you haven't already done so, go check out the Netrix. It's www.thenetrix.com. It's my online streaming platform. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.